For about 2 years, I've been hearing stories about autism homes, residential care facilities in Maine, and they line up with the refugee trends that we started seeing in 2019. In 2019, there's a mass migration to Maine, thousands of Central Africans, primarily from Angola, but also from the Democratic Republic of Congo and from Rwanda. So I start looking at Legends Residential, and the CEO is a guy named Paul Manura. So I found an interview that Paul Manura did in 2019 with a Maine TV news outlet. And this is when he just showed up in Maine. And it was your classic thing of, he's come from the Congo, he's a refugee, he's just happy to be there for his first Thanksgiving ever, and, you know, poor starving refugee. Fast forward from 2019 to now, he's driving a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. He also has a Dodge Charger. He's got an $800,000 home. He's got multiple other properties in Maine. He runs this big business. Mm-hmm. How did he, you know, just that is what caught my eye. Just the rapid success, the huge amount of money that's coming into these autism home operators. And so you have Central African migrants who complete a 50-hour online training course in order to become qualified to care for a disabled adult at one of these houses. It's 50 hours online. No one checks to make sure you're actually the person taking it. You don't have to speak English. And they'll put you in charge of the care of another human being. And
you don't even have to speak English.
No. In fact, Paul told me 70% of his employees don't.
How do they communicate with their patients?
It's a very good question.
That's not important, is it?
It's a very good question. But that gets to, like, that's the fundamental baseline issue, is that the
Are there patients?
It would be better if there weren't, really. Like, that's what, having been working on this investigation and then seeing what's happening in Minnesota and the daycares don't have people, I'm like, it would be better if the patients were fake, because the level of...
So there is patients.
Yes. There's ethical issues.
More than the fucking fraud and the money is the actual human being that's going through this. Are they being cared for? Do you know?
The people who have been inside these facilities say that there are staggering levels of neglect and abuse happening. He choked to death eating his breakfast. I've seen the police report.
Damn.
And it's happened. I talked with Lewiston police officers, Bangor police officers, Portland police officers from the big agencies. They'll find disabled adults wandering the highway. That's specifically what this program is supposed to do, is give disabled adults a feeling of normalcy. Like, it's their home.
Gotcha.
They're paying for it with their Medicaid benefits. There are professionals who are supposed to be coming in and taking care of them in their own home. What's happening, though, is that these employees are treating it like it's their home, and the patient gets, hides in their back room or in the basement. But the law enforcement who finds these people out wandering around will grab them, bring them back to their house. And how long has that been happening? And are they still billing for the 24/7 care in the name of 3 people? Well, you bet your ass they are. They know that each one of those disabled adults that they bring into one of their homes is a payday.
Yeah.
I mean, Legends Residential, the records that Paul Manura testified to the state legislature in January of 2025, he said he cares for 40 plus individuals with autism or intellectual and developmental disorders. That same year he gets, or the year prior, he got 17.3 million. So make that math work for me. You've got 40 plus people you're caring for, 17.34 million.
It's just sit there.
Yes.
Just sit
Warm
there
bodies.
And be a body in a house, do whatever the fuck you want. We don't care. We do not care.
Exactly. But you've got baseline, you've still got these disabled adults that you have to keep alive if you want that money coming in. They just know that if they feed him boiled chicken, he stays alive. So his roommate at that house also gets the same diet, boiled chicken. They're not celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving, which might seem like a small thing, but these are people who are, again, they're living their entire life
They have nothing.
in residential care. They have nothing. You give them this routine. You put out the Christmas tree. You make them feel happy and special about what's happening. And that's what they had previously when they were in homes run by Americans who spoke English.
Man, that is sad.
The people that I've talked with, all of them come back to that there has to be, at some level, state not just approval or turning the blind eye to this, but a directive to make this happen. In 2023, 2024, removed from their homes that they'd been in for, in some cases, 6 years, that are run by Americans, and placed with these new startups. And there's a list that circulates amongst residential care providers. If one of these disabled adults says, I want a new arrangement, I don't want to live here, it's their money, and the Disability Rights Act requires you to honor their wishes. These aren't prisoners, right? They're not like, slaves of the autism care operators.
Have no advocates, huh?
None. But on this list, if they say they want to be moved, that list is supposed to be circulated amongst all the residential home care operators. I'm told that that list is not being circulated amongst the ones run by Americans. This is fucked up. What are we doing? And people are dying, and the police are being called all the time to these homes and having to deal with this. They're finding severe neglect and abuse that is just so, I was like talking with some of these people, I'm filled with just a mix of homicidal rage and just like, why is this happening? Why aren't people talking about this? It's a very hard story to get into and to tell and to really figure out what's going on. But also just horror at the levels of abuse and neglect that will be happening in these homes that we'll never know about because the victims can't advocate for themselves. Yeah. Your testimony as someone with the cognitive capacity of an 8-year-old, if you say you were sexually assaulted, as some of these individuals have alleged, I've seen the police reports, talked with a mortgage professional who said, she's seen just last year, she saw 200 applications come in from these Africans who are direct support professionals, and they're buying their third or fourth property on a mortgage, and they have no Schedule E to report rental income for all the other properties they have. Yet again, another, what I would say is fairly described as a conspiracy to exploit the people of Maine, our most vulnerable disabled population, to enrich yourself from the taxpayers that, for whatever reason, the powers that be are just turning a blind eye to. It's infuriating. I've interviewed so many people who have worked in these houses and have said, we tried to blow the whistle on this. We tried to complain. And we were told, if you want to keep your license in whatever field you're in, you'll stop talking about this. Yes. I have an interview that we'll release with a clinical professional who said she tried to complain about this and she was told that you'll lose your license if you press this. And she knew of 4 other people, she said. If you complain about this idea that Maine's most vulnerable disabled people are being thrown into the maw of a non-English speaking 24/7 residential care setting, you're just racist.
It's fucking crazy, man. What do you suggest people do? What do you do about this? Nobody of any importance seems to give a shit. I shouldn't say importance, with any power, with any ability to actually fucking do something.
I don't really know. And this is hard because at every institutional level, we have an independent ombudsman. The long care ombudsman is supposed to be writing annual reports about what's going on and blowing the whistle. But we have a child welfare ombudsman in Maine too. And every year the child welfare ombudsman comes out and says, hey, kids are dying. This is corrupt and it's broken. That's broken down. Adult Protective Services doesn't want to pay attention to this, doesn't want any attention drawn to it. The Office of Aging and Disability Services, which runs under the health department, they don't want to do anything about this. The federal government, I don't know if they have the ability to come in and investigate this, but again, you could turn off the money. You can turn off the money.